Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Steamboy here. And today we're doing an unboxing on the LED Gloves Synergies. I do have a set of duos in the mail. And at some point I want to do a video comparing them. But today we're just going to do like an unboxing first impressions on the Synergies. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So while I'm trying to open this without destroying anything, it's actually really surprising. I originally predicted that LED Gloves was just going to quietly close their doors. I just didn't see LED Gloves coming back, and it's actually a really nice surprise. It's nice to see some of these guys come back and do their thing. I really hope that Futuristic does the same. I'm not holding out on it, but we'll see. So the first thing that we have here are two sets of gold tags. I do like the gold tags a lot. They're not my main glove set, but I do like having a couple sets. So this is pretty nice, especially if you're kind of getting back into the gloving game for the first time in a while and you don't have any whites. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So now let's take a look. Now here is, wow. Okay, this is really cool. I knew that we were getting a hard shell case, but I didn't realize it was going to be like this. This is really nice, actually. I didn't realize we were going to get this cool design. And yeah, with the zipper, I don't know how well you can see that. Let me try to focus in on that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's like a gold zipper. So that's pretty cool. Let's open this up. Let's see, what do we get? We get another set of gold tags. All right, cool. So 3 gold tags. Very nice. What do we have here? Okay, so I believe these are the charging cables. Yeah, so it's like one for each hand. Each one I think has, 5 cables at the end. So put that aside for a sec. And then let's see what else. We have this. So from what I could gather, this is the actual data cable in which you can use to transfer information from your computer to your glove set and vice versa. So there it is. Charging cables, a data transfer cable. Let's see here. And this, this is actually what we're here for. Pretty exciting, pretty exciting. All right, let's take a look. Yep, there's a little. All right. Okay, so pop that open. And okay, so here it is. Okay, that's interesting. That was not what I was expecting. I was expecting like I've seen pictures online, I'm sure y'all have too, of these big like synergy diffusers. I was not expecting this, but that's cool. Okay, cool. I'll pull a bunch of them out. Ooh, something turned on. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, okay. Something happened. Let's take a look. I'm going to turn one on. Will that turn on? Okay, I think it is locked. I believe it was a double click. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Ooh, pretty. All right. Very cool, very cool. So while we have this here, to make sure there's nothing else in this. Okay, yep. So let's do some size comparisons. I have a couple of things here. I'm actually surprised in several ways. I think the size that is the most comparable would be like an old Micromax, right? So, okay. So I think with the diffuser, the Micromax is actually slightly taller. So let me take off these diffusers for a second and let's take a look. Okay, with the diffuser off, the Micromax looks slightly shorter. Okay, interesting. And I think height-wise, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, it's like say 1.5 times taller. I'm actually really curious to see how these feel on your fingers, like right now. Okay, honestly, the height is kind of concerning, but the actual length of the chip is actually, in my opinion, pretty manageable. And it's about literally the width of, like, I got big hands, like, so, you know, I don't know how the mileage will vary for some of you, but for me, it's like the exact, like, width of my finger. Okay, that's super interesting. Something else I have here is, let's see, like an E-light in one of the glow LEDs, like skins, right? So it's actually, yeah, like a little taller, but not too bad. And honestly, it's really, it's only a little bit taller. One last thing I have here is an Inova, and this is the thing I was kind of the most worried about, because the thing is, I can rock a claw set. So I was like, I can rock a claw set, I can rock one of these, right? The only thing I'm worried about is, like, is there a height difference? Okay, yeah, like it's, I would say, similar to the difference with the Micromaxes. Like, there is a pretty hefty difference, but I would say lengthwise, not too bad, actually. Not too bad. Okay, I'm going to see if I can take one of these out. Come on. Come on out. Why won't you come out? Okay, here you are. Okay, super interesting. This is the battery, you know, first generation of battery, rechargeable batteries with micro lights. You know, we had them with the Vortexes, but now it's in a micro light. And let me see if I turn this on. Come on, turn on. Double click. Okay, yeah, there it is. And that is super cool. You know, I mean, the front facing bulb, you know, nothing too crazy. You know, we've seen this before, 5mm. But this, yeah, very different. You know, I thought it was going to be something to akin to what was on the Vortex, which was a flat NeoPixel, right? But no, this is more closer to like an SMD. In fact, if I turn this on, yeah, I like that a lot. And one thing I will say on the immediate is that the casing is like really like soft. Like, I thought it was going to be like a harder shell, like something more like what the glow skins and stuff are, like this harder kind of like 3D printed plastic. But no, it's more of like this rubber, which I think was a good choice considering how big the chip already is, to kind of minimize the total surface area and all that. So I think it was a good call. Okay, so here's the deal. Today's video is literally just going to be an unboxing and first impressions. It's currently around 4 o'clock right now where I'm at, and the sun's still out. So I'm going to mess around with these for a little bit. I'm going to try to play with the software a little bit. And when the sun goes down, I'm going to come back and kind of give you my first impressions and first thoughts. It's not going to be, you know, super in depth, but it will be enough to give you guys a sense of where I'm heading. Okay, so I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so I spent a lot of time yesterday kind of going into the basic parts of what makes this glove set. And honestly, I'm incredibly impressed. Like, I knew I was going to like certain parts of it. But one, there are things about it that I was kind of questioning to see how I'd feel about it. And they actually turned out to be just fine. And then there were parts about it where I didn't realize how much I would like it until I actually tried it. So, first of all, presentation-wise, there is something about the utility of the way that everything it comes together in this hard case that I really do enjoy. I do wish that this case had like a web net to maintain all the cables, but it's really not that bad. And everything, including the gloves, fit very well. So when you're not using them, it just is in this nice case. So it's really nice. I like it. In terms of actually using it, the one thing I will say on the immediate is that I was actually pleasantly surprised by how they actually feel on your hands. The casing itself is kind of this rubbery material, which it's flexible. I've heard certain people say that they're not very durable. I haven't had any durability issues yet. However, what I will say is that one, they are very comfortable on your finger. Like once they're in the glove and once they're on top of my finger, they feel very nice. It was a little difficult to get them in the glove, not just because of the size, but the material itself. But overall, I think it was a good choice. The slimness of the casing also minimizes as much of the size as possible. So I did like that. And two, the colors are frankly gorgeous on these things. I was somewhat surprised because maybe it's because I'm used to older LED gloves products. Their colors tend to be on the little bit on the dimmer side. And, that's probably because of the form factor being nanos. But, because these are fully UI programmable, you have so many options in terms of colors. And I was surprised by how bright they were. And I wouldn't say they lean either too cold or too hot in terms of the color temperatures or the spectrum or anything like that. I would say they're pretty balanced. But at the same time, the colors are bright, very crisp. And one thing that I also liked is maybe it's because the two diodes, the top one and the tip one, are a bit apart. The color separation between the front and the top LEDs is really well done. And I think because they're using the kind of the smaller SMD style LED for the top, it kind of gives you a very nice blend with the two strobes kind of intermixing and interplaying. One thing I also wasn't expecting is how gorgeous it looks on camera. I don't know if it's because of all the things I just mentioned or if there is some other third factor. I'm not really sure, but it looks gorgeous on camera. I mean, you've seen the videos of other people such as Quentin Pastor, let me see, Trace, Zeolzabub, all those guys, like their sets look gorgeous on camera. And yeah, I was surprised looking back at some of the footage that I shot just to test these out. Yeah, like they look stunning. The other thing I wanted to mention was the battery life. So something to keep in mind, my set was probably sitting in transit for about a week before they got here. I was still able to get about, 5 hours of on and off. Yeah, 5 hours on and off, kind of just messing with them. And they started to get a little funky. And then one of them died. And Quentin, aka Quantum, told me that what it is that as the chips run out of battery, they get more and more kind of wonky, kind of glitchy. And he says a lot of these problems will simply be solved by charging up the battery. So I did that, and it took around 2 hours last night. I know on the website it advertises an hour. It might be the charging ports that I was using might be just too slow for whatever these are. It might also be because they were basically near dead. So I'm going to be doing more battery testings to see, on a day-to-day how long they actually take to charge. But yeah, it took about 2 hours to charge. And since then, they've been running pretty well. I'm trying to see if that 7-hour battery life actually holds up. We'll see. Let's see. And the last thing I guess I want to touch upon is I did get to dive a little bit into LED Studios. For those of you who don't know, the Synergies are programmed through a web-based application. And to me, this is really cool. It reminds me a lot of my old OSM days, right? It is a little confusing at first. You have kind of like your modes, right? And then you have these things called playlists. So playlists, imagine literally like a Spotify playlist. You can have playlists of modes
and you can have up to 10 playlists on your glove set at the same time. How it works is that you have to load your modes onto your chips first, and then you can use LED Studios to kind of mess with your playlists. And I feel like that will confuse a lot of people when they first start to get these. I feel like for me, I would have thought that you would basically have like your mode set into a playlist and you're uploading the playlist, but that's not really the case. You're uploading the modes and then you're using the studio to create, like, arrange the playlists on the chip. I know that sounds a little confusing, but it'll make sense if you actually get it. And like I said, it's not like a big deal or anything. It's just a little different to wrap your head around. But once you get it, it's pretty understandable. And once I got that concept, using the studio itself was pretty simple. And there's a lot of like smaller things that are just incredibly well thought out. It's fun. So far, I think that surprisingly, the modes, like the options that you have, are actually pretty simple. I think a lot of people will be able to pick it up very quickly. I wonder if stuff like that is going to be updated, because one thing I didn't notice that I didn't see was like a fade. There was a candy option, but I didn't see like a fade option. So, I mean, technically you can make your own fades by like having multiple similar colors in a row and then messing with like brightness with each one, like having them basically like cascade from high to low, you know, but it would be cool to just see like a fade option. But that's the other cool thing. These are updatable, you know? And actually, literally yesterday, I just messaged the Synergy group and I was just like, hey, just got these. I'm really impressed. And, you know, Jerry Fallon, you know, the guy who owns LED Gloves, chimes in and he's like, wait for the update this week. So that's, I think, the last thing that gets me really excited. LED Gloves is really committed to like kind of like adding more and more features to this thing. Really any of that space. So it's like over time, we're going to be able to get updates, get more and more features. And the other thing about it too is that even though the community for the Synergies is pretty small right now, they are pretty dedicated. And that's something that I like. It reminds me really of like the OSM2 days where we got Vector and people were trading modes. People were trading colors and ideas, and, you know, not only with the screenshots, but like with the text files, right? And I think that's what's really getting me excited is the community possibility. As much as I, you know, had all my issues with the Spectrals, one of the coolest things about that light was the community, you know, the community glove sets, you know, like you could see your friends' glove sets uploaded, your favorite glovers, and see what they're doing. I mean, I think back to like Outlaw glove sets and how fucking goated they were, right? And yeah, it's all really cool. Like I haven't even touched on like the one button like click thing. Yeah, it's as goated as it sounds. I will say that it's not always like super perfect. I've noticed, maybe this is because it was on low battery, that there was like a delay between like clicking. Like I'll click my thumb and then like all of my fingers will change, but then there'll be like a half-second delay and it will take like a half second for the button that I clicked to actually catch up. But Quentin basically said that this could be like a battery issue. So I'm going to play with them more today and like run some tests now that they're fully charged and see like how bad that delay actually is. But yeah, if you can't tell, I am in love with these. I did not like, I knew I was going to like them, but I am like in love with these. I'm surprised by how much I like them. And I'm really excited for this update to come out. And I'm just curious to see where this goes, you know? I think the future of this glove set really is going to depend on two things. It's going to depend on, one, the direction that LED Gloves decides to go with. How, like, with their updates, but also how they're going to cultivate this community of people who are like clearly passionate about the technology, right? And I think too, it's really going to depend on the community itself. It's going to depend on the people who buy this and contribute to the community, right? And how are those things going to come out? I don't know. I'm just a guy. Like, I have ideas, I have thoughts. But overall, I'm really excited. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions or, comments, any ideas about what I should be focusing on with the reviews and all that, please let me know. I'll try to make sure I include them. And yeah,